Hi everyone, this is Amina for another episode of Wise Wednesdays, and today we're talking about the key to more joy and flow in your day-to-day activities. And it's particularly prompted by the recent sad news about celebrity suicides, which really brought home the importance of having a good relationship to our minds. So whether you look at it from a psychological perspective, a philosophical perspective, or a spiritual perspective, the core of the relationship to ourselves is in the relationship to our thoughts. So the key is really to understand that your thoughts are not real. Your thoughts are not real. They're events in your mind, but they're not real in the sense that they have necessarily an impact in the world, or that they can necessarily have an impact on how you feel, unless you allow them. And much personal development, if you look at it closely and look at the themes and the threads that are common to different approaches, come back to this idea that you need to have a better relationship to your thoughts. In practice, this would mean that you wouldn't let your thoughts govern your emotions and your actions. You wouldn't let your thoughts run away with you and take you down a train of thought that wastes your time and your energy because it's fruitless, ultimately. You wouldn't let your thoughts take you in lots of different directions at a time. Over here, check the phone there, talk to that person, send this email. And you would essentially have a much more grounded experience because your relationship to your thoughts is healthier. So as thoughts appear in your mind, you're not taking them seriously. You're not taking them as a faithful description of reality. Because thoughts, most of them come from our conditioning. They come from cultural conditioning, societal conditioning, upbringing, and they come from genetic conditioning, the millions of years of evolution that have stored a data bank of thoughts in our minds about survival, for example. So you might see something and decide that it's a threat because there's a mechanism in your mind that throws up a thought saying, this is dangerous. This is just like the time when this disaster happened and it's dangerous and you need to do something now. And it might just be that someone looked at you in a strange way because they're not wearing their glasses and they didn't see you properly. So it's important, it's really, really key to understand this, that your thoughts are not real. They might have an emotional impact, which then is real because it's a physiology, there's a physical impact of the thought on your emotional experience, and then it becomes real. The thought has developed a reality to it, but it doesn't have to. And at that point, you could say that your experience, your emotional experience is real, but the thought isn't necessarily true. All right. So you might think something very negative about yourself, like I'm useless, I'm just generally useless. And you will feel bad as that thought comes into your consciousness and you entertain it, right? If you focus on it, you let it be there, you let it mushroom into a bunch of different thoughts, you're going to feel bad. Because it's a negative thought about yourself, it's a self-criticism. So it's important to decouple using chemistry or biochemistry language, when you talk about mechanisms in the cell, for example, to decouple the thinking from reality, including your emotional reality as well as the outside reality that is that you relate to through your actions and your behavior. So that's pretty much the key to a much happier and joyful and healthy experience of life, including time saved, energy saved, arguments avoided, relationships saved, because you didn't entertain, believe a thought that came through your mind that wasn't wise and helpful or in alignment with what you deeply believe to be important. Those are your values, like connection or love or contribution. So a helpful metaphor may be to think of a TV. So there's your psyche is a room like this one, and there's a TV in the corner. And the TV is the mechanism that generates thoughts in your mind. So you have several options. You can exercise choice and direct your focus, and you can tune in or tune out to the TV. So you can sit and watch it. You can just leave it on in the background while you get on with things. You might even decide to change channel. So you change from the inner critic channel to the helpful guide, the wise guide channel. Yeah, I think that's probably, I'll leave it there because we don't want to get into too much detail at this point. But thinking of your thoughts as a TV, there's a broadcast, there's a Rupert Murdoch or a media mogul somewhere in the background sort of throwing these broadcasts on the television, and you get to be detached from the TV. You are not the TV or what's on the TV. You are separate from it. You can choose whether you engage with it, whether you change channel, whether you maybe have an impact on it. So this is where you start to develop emotional and intellectual maturity, because your thoughts and your emotions are working together, they're interacting. So you can notice the impact of a thought by looking at how you're feeling. Because if you've allowed it to take on a reality, you're going to feel something. And instead of thinking, I feel bad, and the thought is true, for example, if it's a self-critical thought, why not think, I feel bad, therefore that thought is not necessarily to be believed. Let's examine the thought. Am I guilty because am I feeling guilty because I've violated some important rule? Or am I feeling bad because this thought is very critical and harsh and isn't actually even true? And then you can evolve the thought, and that will improve your emotional experience, and then you can develop an emotional experience of joyfulness and compassion rather than constant ups and downs that are guided or basically created by these thoughts that are, one minute they're super elated, yeah, I'm amazing and I'm great, and the next minute they're super critical about how you might not be great and you're awful. And that's the journey. That's the journey of evolution, of maturation, of awakening, of personal growth, whatever you want to call it. And once you're on it, it's there's no going back. Just so you know. You might forget for a while, but you'll always be called back to this development so that you can experience a better and a more joyful life. Okay, so that's enough for today. If you have any comments or questions, leave them below. If you're not subscribed to Wise Wednesdays and you enjoyed this, please subscribe. There's a link below the video. And if you know someone might benefit from this, please share it. Please share the video. All right, have a wonderful week, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.